Most people fail in life not because they lack intelligence or ambition, but because they cling to the lie of fairness. You believe playing fair will earn you respect, loyalty, and success. But the truth is harsher. Fairness is a chain, and those who wear it are destined to be ruled by the ruthless. Today, I will show you why you must abandon fairness, embrace the darker path, and master Machiavelli's most dangerous lessons of power. You have been taught, since the earliest days of your childhood, to believe in fairness. Your parents told you to share. Your teachers told you to play by the rules. Society told you that if you remain honest, patient, and respectful, the world will reward you. But I tell you this, fairness is a lie. It is a pleasant mask painted across the ugly face of power. Those who cling to fairness as a principle are destined to be ruled, to be outmaneuvered, and to be devoured by those who understand its true nature. Consider how the world truly works. Do you see kings and princes rise because they played fair? Do empires spread their banners because they abided by moral rules? No, they rose because they bent the rules, twisted the truth, and crushed their rivals before those rivals had the chance to strike back. Fairness is spoken of by the weak to protect themselves from the strong. It is a shield of words, a plea for mercy, a way for those without claws to beg the lion not to feast upon them. Yet the lion does not listen to pleas. The lion devours. Imagine for a moment two men who seek the same throne. One believes in fairness, in equality, in waiting his turn. The other believes only in advantage, in seizing what is available before his rival has noticed the opportunity. Who will prevail? The fair man may gain respect from the crowd, but the ruthless one will sit upon the throne, holding the power to silence his enemy forever. Tell me then, which victory matters more, the respect of the powerless or the command over all? The illusion of fairness keeps most men chained. They hesitate when they should strike. They forgive when they should punish. They give when they should withhold, and they wait for a justice that never comes. In politics, in war, in business, in life itself, fairness is not a law of nature. It is only an invention of men, designed to control others while giving advantage to those who refuse to obey it. Look at history, and you will see that fairness never crowned a king, never built an empire, never secured a dynasty. It is ruthlessness, cunning, and decisive action that writes the names of victors upon the pages of time. You may resist these words. You may cling to the hope that fairness can coexist with power. But every day, in the world around you, the proof stands before your eyes. The worker who follows the rules is passed over for the man who plays politics in the shadows. The kind leader is betrayed by those he trusted most. The honest merchant is destroyed by the competitor who lies and cheats with a smile. Fairness did not save them. It betrayed them. Their downfall came because they lived in illusions, while others embraced reality. Ask yourself, when has fairness ever protected you? Did it shield you from betrayal? Did it prevent the ambitious from taking what was yours? Did it stop the liar from advancing while you told the truth? Or did it simply keep you bound, while others grew stronger at your expense? You already know the answer. You have felt the sting of being fair in an unfair world. You have been taught to believe that fairness is noble, but in reality, it is a leash around your neck, and someone else is holding it. The illusion of fairness is seductive because it makes men feel good about themselves. It allows them to believe they are virtue superior, morally pure. But power does not reward virtue. Power rewards results. When you cling to fairness, you are not noble, you are naïve. And in the game of power, naivety is fatal. Do not mistake me. I do not say you must discard the appearance of fairness. On the contrary, appearing fair, appearing just, appearing merciful is one of the greatest tools a ruler can wield. Men wish to believe in fairness, and so they will love you if you wear its mask. But behind that mask, you must hold a dagger. For the man who is truly fair will fall, but the man who appears fair while practicing ruthlessness will command loyalty, fear, and power. This is why I call fairness an illusion. It is not real. It exists only in the minds of the weak. To those who understand the mechanics of power, fairness is nothing but a costume, a tool, a performance. The wise ruler uses fairness as bait, but never as truth. He promises fairness to the people while securing his throne with ruthlessness. He offers the illusion of justice, while behind the curtain, he silences rivals and strengthens his hold. That is the difference between the ruler and the ruled. And yet, most people cannot accept this. They would rather lose with dignity than win with ruthlessness. They would rather cling to illusions than face reality. They tell themselves that fairness will eventually be rewarded, that karma or fate or some higher justice will intervene on their behalf. But the world is deaf to such prayers. Fate does not rescue the weak. Karma does not protect the innocent. Justice does not favor the fair. Only strength, cunning, and ruthless action decide who will rise and who will fall. Think carefully then. Every time you are tempted to play fair, ask yourself who benefits from my fairness. When you give away mercy, who grows stronger because of it? When you forgive, who is waiting for the chance to strike again? When you hesitate, who is sharpening their blade in the shadows? Fairness is rarely neutral. It is almost always a gift to your rival, and in the world of power, gifting strength to your rival is suicide. Do you see now why the illusion of fairness is so dangerous? It feels righteous, it feels moral, it feels safe. But beneath the surface, it is a slow poison. It convinces you to stay weak while others seize advantage. It blinds you to threats until it is too late. It lulls you into believing you are secure, when in truth, you are standing on the edge of defeat. The illusion of fairness is the most seductive lie ever told to mankind, and it has destroyed more men than war or famine ever could. Power has never belonged to the timid. It does not fall into the hands of the gentle, nor does it reward those who wait politely for their turn. Power is seized, not gifted. It bends to the will of those who dare act with speed, precision, and without hesitation. And this is where the ruthless gain their advantage. For while most men are shackled by conscience, morality, or fear, the ruthless are liberated. They do what must be done while others pause, and in that pause, the balance of power shifts forever. To be ruthless is not merely to be cruel. Cruelty alone is savagery, and savagery breeds chaos. No, true ruthlessness is discipline. It is the ability to strike without doubt, to cut away weakness, to make decisions others shy away from, and to do so with a clarity that frightens those around you. The ruthless understand that hesitation is death. They see the world for what it is, not what it pretends to be. They accept that to command others, they must be willing to do what others cannot stomach. That is the ruthless advantage, the ability to move forward when all others are paralyzed. Consider the battlefield. Two commanders face one another. One hesitates, weighed down by pity for his men, worried about whether his decision will be judged as just. The other acts swiftly, deploying his forces without hesitation, willing to sacrifice what must be sacrificed to secure victory. Who triumphs? It is not the one who worries about fairness or reputation, but the one who seizes the moment. History remembers the victorious commander. The defeated one may be remembered for his kindness, but his men lie in graves, and his cause is lost. Such is the brutal arithmetic of power. The ruthless advantage extends far beyond war. In politics, the ruthless rise because they are willing to betray alliances before alliances betray them. They are willing to expose weakness in others, even if it means being called treacherous. They are willing to silence opposition quickly, rather than allow dissent to fester. Meanwhile, the fair-minded politician preaches patience, compromise, and morality. And what is his reward? He is pushed aside, forgotten, or destroyed by those who were willing to do what he would not. In business, in wealth, in ambition, the same law applies. The man who waits for permission will always be ruled by the man who takes without asking. The one who obsesses over fairness will always be overtaken by the one who obsesses over results. The ruthless advantage is not about cruelty for cruelty's sake. It is about recognizing that those who hesitate to act because they fear judgment, rejection, or guilt will forever remain beneath those who refuse to feel such chains. What most fail to see is that ruthlessness is often hidden beneath a mask. The ruthless do not need to show their true nature openly. In fact, the greatest practitioners of power appear calm, virtuous, and even merciful. But beneath the mask, their heart is steel. They calculate without sentiment, they strike when it serves their purpose, and they do so without remorse. The mask makes their ruthlessness invisible, while their results make it undeniable. This is their true advantage. They do not need to appear ruthless to practice ruthlessness. You must understand that the ruthless advantage is born not only from action, but from timing. Many men know what must be done, but they lack the courage to do it in the moment it matters. They tell themselves they will act tomorrow, or when the conditions are more favorable, but tomorrow never comes. The ruthless act today, because they understand the smallest hesitation can transform victory into defeat. They strike before their enemies are ready. They seize opportunities before others even see them, and they burn bridges before rivals can cross them. Their swiftness terrifies those who still cling to fairness, because it shows that power belongs to the bold, not the hesitant. Do not mistake this lesson. Ruthlessness is not recklessness. The reckless destroy themselves as often as they destroy others. The ruthless calculate with precision, ensuring their blows land only when it matters most. They cut deeply, but only once. They act decisively, but with purpose. Their cruelty is not random, it is surgical. And this is why they succeed. They do not waste time trying to win everyone's approval. They understand that to gain power, You must be willing to make enemies, to be feared, to be hated if necessary. What matters is not how many approve of you, but how many obey you. Those who cling to fairness often ask, is it not better to be loved? Is it not safer to be kind? But I have already told you, men are ungrateful, fickle, and self-serving. Love lasts only as long as it is convenient, but fear, once secured, endures. The ruthless know this truth. They do not build their power on love, for they know love is fleeting. They build it on strength, decisiveness, and the cold knowledge that their enemies will not hesitate to exploit any sign of weakness. If you refuse to be ruthless, you have already surrendered to those who are. And yet, the illusion of fairness still blinds the majority. They convince themselves that ruthlessness is immoral, that it is evil, that it cannot be sustained. But history speaks louder than their illusions. It was ruthlessness that built Rome, that crowned kings, that forged empires across the earth. It was not kindness that secured kingdoms, but ruthless ambition. Those who practiced it are remembered not for their virtue, but for their victories. Those who refused it are not remembered at all. Think of how often in your own life you have hesitated. Think of the moments when you could have spoken, acted, seized an opportunity, but you waited. Because you did not want to appear unfair, or unkind, or ruthless. Where did it leave you? Still waiting. Still watching others take what you could not bring yourself to claim. This is the difference between those who remain in the shadows and those who rise to command. The ruthless do not wait for permission. They do. They act. And in doing so, they leave behind those still clinging to illusions of fairness and morality. That is the ruthless advantage. It is not simply a way of acting, it is a way of being. It is the freedom from hesitation, the clarity to see reality without illusions, and the will to do what others cannot. The ruthless are not bound by rules they did not create. They are not chained by conscience when conscience serves only to weaken them. They understand that power does not reward those who are fair. It rewards those who are fearless. And in this truth lies the sharpest edge of their advantage. Mercy. It is a word that men worship. They tell themselves that to forgive is noble, to be merciful is divine, to spare an enemy is the mark of greatness. But I tell you this mercy, when misapplied, is poison. It weakens rulers, it emboldens rivals, and it invites betrayal. Mercy in the wrong hands destroys authority more surely than cruelty ever could. For when a ruler is too merciful, he gives life to the very forces that will one day destroy him. You may think mercy creates loyalty. You may believe that sparing an enemy turns him into a friend. But the truth is crueler. A man who is spared does not love his savior, he resents him. He remembers his humiliation, he carries the wound of defeat in his heart, and he waits patiently for the moment when he can rise again. By sparing him, you do not gain an ally. You create a future traitor. That is the hidden cost of mercy. You nurture the snake that will later strike at your breast. Look through history, and you will see it. Kings who forgave their rivals soon found themselves betrayed. Generals who spared a defeated enemy saw that same enemy return stronger, thirsting for revenge. Leaders who showed mercy to conspirators discovered, too late, that conspiracies are not ended by forgiveness but by eradication. Mercy, when given to those who would harm you, is not virtue, it is weakness. And weakness is fatal in the realm of power. Consider this simple truth: men are not grateful for mercy. Gratitude is a fleeting emotion. They may bow before you. They may swear loyalty in the moment of their defeat, but gratitude dissolves the instant they see opportunity. The man you spare today will not remember your kindness tomorrow. He will remember his humiliation and he will plot to erase it. Gratitude fades, ambition endures. And ambition, when combined with the memory of mercy, is a dagger pointed at your throat. The hidden cost of mercy is that it teaches others that you are soft. When you spare one enemy, 10 more rise. They see that you hesitate to punish, that you fear cruelty, that you believe forgiveness will protect you. And so they test you. They probe your defenses, they challenge your authority, they conspire against you. For mercy, in the eyes of ambitious men, is not seen as virtue but as opportunity. They will not respect you for it. They will exploit you because of it. Do you imagine that the ruthless ruler is hated because he is cruel? On the contrary, he is feared and fear protects him. The merciful ruler is loved for a time, but that love is shallow and unstable. When the winds change, that same love turns to contempt. A merciful ruler inspires boldness in his enemies, for they know that should they fail, he will forgive them. A ruthless ruler inspires caution, for they know that failure means destruction. Which ruler is safer? Which throne is more secure? Understand this: cruelty, when used decisively and swiftly, can bring stability. Mercy, when used blindly, invites chaos. When a ruler is ruthless, the people may whisper against him, but they obey. When a ruler is merciful, the people may praise him, but they test his limits. Which would you rather have? Praise without obedience, or obedience without praise? Too many rulers choose the former, and they are destroyed because of it. You must also see that mercy often grows from cowardice. Many rulers forgive not because they are noble, but because they are afraid. They fear being judged cruel, they fear being hated, they fear staining their conscience. But the man who fears cruelty is already enslaved to the opinions of others. He rules not for himself, but for the approval of those he governs, and such a ruler does not truly rule at all, he is ruled. The ruthless ruler, however, does not fear judgment. He acts as necessity demands, knowing that it is better to be feared and secure than loved and vulnerable. Do not misunderstand me. I do not say that mercy must never be shown. On the contrary, mercy can be a useful tool, but only when it serves your purpose. When mercy strengthens your power, use it. When mercy inspires loyalty in the masses while costing you nothing, display it. But when mercy places you at risk, when it gives strength to your rivals, when it weakens your authority, then it is not mercy but madness. To forgive in such moments is to sign your own death sentence. Mercy has another hidden cost. It deceives you into believing you are secure. When you forgive an enemy, you imagine he is now loyal. You imagine the threat has vanished, but the threat does not vanish. It grows in silence. Your mercy blinds you, lulls you into comfort, convinces you that the danger has passed. And then, when you least expect it, the enemy you spared returns with vengeance. Mercy does not end danger, it postpones it. And in postponing it, you allow it to grow more deadly. Think of your own life. How many times have you forgiven someone who later betrayed you again? How many times has your kindness been taken for weakness? How many times has mercy left you more vulnerable, not less? Each time you forgive those who would harm you, you gamble with your future. You place your faith not in their loyalty, but in their lack of ambition. And ambition, as I have told you, never dies. Mercy is not security. It is a wager that your enemy will remain too weak to strike back. But history proves this wager is rarely won. The hidden cost of mercy is not simply betrayal. It is also the erosion of fear. When you spare enemies, they learn that you are hesitant to act with force. They no longer fear your wrath. They test you again and again, growing bolder each time, until they finally topple you. For authority rests not on love, not on mercy, but on the knowledge that disobedience will be punished. Mercy, shown too often, erases that knowledge. It invites defiance, it breeds disloyalty, it weakens the very foundations of power. And still, men cling to the illusion that mercy is noble. They would rather appear good than be secure. They would rather risk their throne than risk being called cruel. But tell me, what is more cruel, to act decisively against an enemy and secure stability for your people, or to forgive that enemy, only to see him rise again and plunge your realm into war? What serves your people more, swift cruelty that prevents chaos, or mercy that unleashes it? The ruler who cannot see this truth is not merciful, he is blind. This is the paradox of mercy. It feels righteous in the moment, but it plants the seeds of ruin. It convinces you that you have risen above cruelty, when in truth you have sunk into weakness. It makes you believe you are secure, when in truth you have invited danger into your house. And by the time you realize the cost, it is too late. For mercy, once granted, cannot be taken back. There is a law of power so dark, so brutal, and so unyielding that most men refuse to see it. They turn away from it, clinging instead to illusions of morality, of fairness, of kindness, as though such illusions could shield them. But those who seek to rule, those who wish to rise above the mass of ordinary men, cannot afford blindness. They must accept the law as it is written in blood, not in words. I call it the dark law. To dominate, you must master deception, strike before others can strike, and appear virtuous while practicing ruthlessness in the shadows. This is not a choice. It is the reality of power. Those who refuse it are condemned to serve those who embrace it. The first command of this dark law is deception. Men believe what they see, not what is true. They trust appearances, they cling to symbols. They are guided by the surface of things. To them, the mask is reality, and the truth is hidden behind a curtain they never bother to lift. This is why deception is the most essential weapon of a ruler. A prince must seem merciful, faith humane, religious, and honest. He must wear these virtues like a shining cloak, but beneath this cloak he must carry a heart of iron, capable of betrayal, cruelty, and manipulation. Appearances disarm men, appearances blind them, and while they gaze upon the illusion, you work unseen in the shadows. Consider how easy it is to mislead the masses. They do not investigate deeply, they do not question what they wish to believe, they hunger for comfort and certainty. Give them a display of virtue, and they will declare you righteous. Speak words of justice, and they will believe you just. But behind the curtain of your words, you act only in pursuit of power. This is the genius of deception. It allows you to commit ruthless acts while preserving the image of goodness. Men will curse cruelty when they see it openly, but they will cheer it when it is hidden beneath the mask of necessity or virtue. Thus, the ruler who deceives gains both power and reputation, while the honest man is devoured for his sincerity. The second command of the dark law is to strike first. Hesitation is death in the game of power. To wait is to give your rival the chance to sharpen his knife. To delay is to give him the moment he needs to gather allies. To forgive is to allow him to return stronger, hungrier, more dangerous. A wise ruler does not wait for the threat to become visible. He anticipates it, he senses it, and he destroys it before it can grow. Enemies are like fire, easy to extinguish when small, impossible to contain once they spread. To rule, you must be willing to strike preemptively, to silence opposition before it finds a voice, to remove rivals before they become threats. Men will call it cruelty, but history will call it wisdom. Look to the empires of the past, and you will see this law in motion. Rome did not wait for its enemies to grow strong. It struck first, conquering and consuming before its rivals could breathe. Kings who secured their thrones did so not by waiting for rebellion, but by crushing even the hint of it. In every age, those who hesitated were destroyed, while those who struck first endured. This is the rhythm of power. Act swiftly, act decisively, and leave no enemy alive to plot against you. The dark law does not forgive hesitation, for hesitation is an invitation to be overthrown. The third command of this law is to appear virtuous while practicing ruthlessness in secret. Men do not love the cruel ruler, they love the image of kindness. They do not trust the liar, they trust the illusion of honesty. They do not respect the tyrant, they respect the illusion of justice. This is why the greatest rulers wear masks. They deliver mercy with one hand while sharpening the dagger in the other. They build temples, fund churches, give speeches of love and unity, all while removing rivals in silence, all while consolidating power in the dark. Men crave appearances. Give them what they crave, and you may rule them as you please. Do not be fooled by the false choice between appearing virtuous and being ruthless. The dark law demands both. If you are ruthless without disguise, you inspire rebellion. If you are virtuous without ruthlessness, you invite betrayal. But if you are both, if you master the art of the mask, you become untouchable. Men will love you for the virtues you pretend to possess, and they will fear you for the ruthlessness they cannot see. That is the highest form of power. Not to be merely loved or feared, but to be both at once in different measures, through illusion and through action. The dark law is feared because it reveals the world as it truly is. Men want to believe in justice, fairness, and goodness. They want to believe that morality governs power. But morality is a theater, a play performed to keep the masses obedient. Behind the curtain, the actors who control the stage live by different rules. They deceive, they strike first, they practice ruthlessness. They do so not because they are evil, but because they know that without such measures, they would be devoured. Those who rise to command do so not by resisting the dark law, but by obeying it more perfectly than others. Do not think this law belongs only to kings and princes. It rules every corner of life. In war, in politics, in wealth, even in the smallest matters of ambition, the same commands apply. The man who deceives gains advantage over the one who speaks truth. The man who strikes first defeats the one who hesitates. The man who appears virtuous while acting ruthless secures both reputation and results, while the man who tries to be virtuous without ruthlessness loses both. The dark law governs all who seek to rise, and those who ignore it condemn themselves to fall. You may resist this truth. You may tell yourself you wish to be good, to be fair, to be merciful, but the world does not reward such illusions. The world is ruled by those who are willing to descend into the shadows, who are willing to wear the mask of virtue while wielding the blade of ruthlessness. The dark law does not bend to your ideals. It does not care for your morality. It simply waits, ready to punish those who defy it. And its punishment is always the same: defeat, disgrace, and ruin. And so, you have seen the truth unveiled. Fairness is an illusion, a mask worn by the weak. Ruthlessness is the weapon of those who dare to rise. Mercy, when misplaced, is not virtue but weakness, and it plants the seeds of your own destruction. And above all, the dark law governs everything. Deceive with appearances. Strike before your rivals can act, and wear the mask of virtue while wielding the dagger of necessity. You were told to play fair, to be kind, to wait patiently for your reward. But you now know that such advice was crafted not for rulers, but for servants. Those who cling to fairness remain in chains. Those who embrace ruthlessness break them. The world has never belonged to the gentle, the honest, or the merciful. It has always belonged to the cunning, the fearless, and the decisive. Do not waste your life waiting for justice is not given, it is taken. Do not wait for love is fickle, but fear endures. Do not seek safety in fairness, for fairness is a trap. Seek instead the advantage that comes from boldness, from deception, from decisive cruelty when necessity demands it. For it is not the good man who writes history, but the powerful one. If you truly wish to rise, if you wish to command rather than serve, then abandon the lies you have been taught. Stop playing fair. Be ruthless. And let the world bow to the strength of your will.